up here so that we can start breaking this one down. Seraphine, Victor, Udyr all banned away. Not super traditional bans, especially looking at that Victor Seraphine.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. The Seraphine taken off the table here. It's a very strong pick currently, but especially if you're planning on playing around the bot side of the map, Seraphine can be a pretty big problem for you. A lot of teams are prioritizing that top side, if for no other reason than late game top laners and early game junglers are extremely strong right now. And that's what we see from Red Kids coming out with their first pick here is the Olaf. It's just been huge.
Oh
in
my
CBLOL.
lord. You give over Olaf, bro? I guess I guess you have to. I get Oh.
It's not great here for Furry so far. They did not make it very far into this game without basically losing, but they get the Lucian mid down and they lock in Leona for some pretty solid first picks here. But I think Furia might still be operating under the assumption that Lucian is treated as a flex pick, and he is 100% not. This is a safe blind pick for mid, I would say. It's pretty solid, has a lot of good matchups, but a lot of the reason we saw Lucian first picked in seasons gone by and then flexed in the mid is because it was a flex dia, and it really isn't anymore, and it's earned them the fizz counter. Maybe? We'll see if he locks it in. This isn't a good matchup for Lucian, I don't think.
No, this is not his best look. It's not locked in just yet. I would love to see our first fizz of CBLOL, first competitive fizz actually that I would have cast of 2021, but the Orianna, of course, quite safe is the expected answer. And it still rounds you out with a lot of power on the side of Red Canids that Furia are desperately trying to make up right now. They do have a Leona. It seems like they're going to get an Italy for themselves that can compete with some of the clear speed that Olaf puts up, but it doesn't have me any less worried right now. And I want to see Furia's composition come together in a way that can actually accurately deal with things like Rel and Olaf.
Definitely. What I like from Furia, if nothing else, is that they've got a big eye towards the early game and around bot side control, right? Unless we see something from Red like an MF or something like that coming out for the bot side, technically Furia should have Dragon Prio, I say hesitantly, in this early game with the champions that they drafted. But I think that's probably going to fall apart for them here in a little bit as the Olaf just runs them down. But second round of bans are coming out. A lot of late game champions taken off the table. The Azir for blue side, and then Senna Felios over here for red. And I think if we're taking more mid laners off the table, probably take something like the Victor off. Oh, Kai'Sa comes through here.
Yeah, I like the Kai'Sa ban. It is another one of those top tier AD carries, but Xayah has started cropping up just around the edges. We did see it picked yesterday, and if you've been watching some of the tier 2 tournaments in NA, you know that it's been picked there as well. She is creeping just a little bit into the meta, but not quite enough for Furia to feel confident piloting it, and I feel a specific way about this, but I'm going to wait till R5 to see if I actually need to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll touch on that again in just a little bit here.
I like Galio.
Ooh, Galio. I don't... where's Galio going?
Likely mid, and then they'd put Beanie on Lucian, right?
I guess. So they're flexing him bot lane?
And then they counterpick top? I think this is what happens.
Yeah, I guess so. Unless it's Lucian top.
Yeah, they could flex Lucian top. We'll see. I expect them to flex Lucian into the bot lane, as I feel like Beanie can pilot that champion pretty well, and you do have other picks available into Renekton right now. I just feel like you can hard smash a lane, and you are going to need at least something that can go toe-to-toe with a Bruiser in a way that is more than annoying him.
100%. Very interested in what this pick is going to be. We might not actually know where it's going until they switch the champions up into their correct slots. Okay, Nars.
Yeah, we know.
Undoubtedly be going top. Okay, so yeah, so this will be Lucian bot. Okay, keep switching them, please.
Yeah, so this rounds out both
Jeez.
sides of the composition. Red
There we
Canids,
go.
I wouldn't say that they have a composition that really wants to do one thing, but they've got quite a well-rounded one, whereas Furia are in large part built to team fight and deal with what Red Canids can throw at them in terms of dive.
For sure, it was also a pretty good draft. Definitely
Yeah.
had me fooled for most of that. So they haven't given away too much in terms of counterpick advantages here to Red, which is probably the best they could have hoped for. They also have a very strong early game down the bot side that's very capable of skirmishing. And I have all big hopes, big expectations for Furia this game. They have a solid composition. They could do what we've been talking about is necessary to get victory in CBLOL, which is just get that objective control on the bot side, get the Dragon Soul, and try to end the game in under 30 minutes. So Furia definitely comes out with a solid draft phase. We'll see if they can execute.
That's, yeah, it's going to be a time for Furia to see if they can, like we say, off of a solid draft where they haven't made any big missteps, although we'll forgive the Olaf for right now. When they haven't made any big missteps, how far they can carry that into the game. Because remember, the time to beat is 28 minutes.
Yeah, 28 minutes. See if Red Canids could do it. As we load on the Rift here, it should come up any second, but I don't know. The Olaf, obviously, Olaf main, but Nidalee can give him some trouble. He also is up against some very solid, like early game skirmishers. Like we were talking about, Lucian's pretty scary for him. Galio as well, as that taunt pre-6 is a very difficult ability to deal with. You just kind of run at people as Olaf, right? And that's a big AoE taunt to have to run through. So this is a tough one, but Galio has Predator.
I like Predator. This is nice.
That's fun. That'll be a good time for him, especially when we're talking about roaming, going for the objective plays. Makes it a little bit easier for him there with the purple secondaries, the sorcery secondaries there. But yeah, no, everything looking pretty standard as far as runes go. And we're at a bit of a funny little 5-point. I would expect Red could probably go for level 1 if they wanted, but doesn't look like they're going to. Get the early ward drop from Aegis, gonna reset and get the red trinket.
Oh, we do
to
have
as well.
Tyrion caught on a ward there, so it's going to take a little bit of damage on his way out. Won't be able to reset in time to catch the minion wave, so we'll be going in a little bit at a little bit of a health disadvantage, if you're Guigo, you're going to be pretty pleased about. Guigo, unfortunately, will have to go back and leash some of his top laner his jungler, and will be spotted on a ward himself. So right now, Furia know exactly where Aegis is starting, which is a pretty big advantage when given how well Red like to play together. It's unlikely that they'll make something happen without him, and Follow taking full advantage of that already.
Great vision game here played by Tyrion. Definitely worth the damage that he took in the early game before. Follow to steal away the red here. And that's good stuff. Tyrion dealing with the consequences top lane. You can see that health bar dropping pretty low on the Gnar. Doesn't feel super good. But we're in the bot lane as well. Titan and JoJo are shoving this wave in. Saying, I don't care if you have a solid level 2. We're going to get our level before you and then shove you in. They rotate up for some vision control and look for that dragon at 5 minutes here. And,
was this
good stuff
called?
so far.
That's so odd. With the roam from Avenger, they do end up knowing that the red buff was taken, and we're just going to get full vertical jungling off of a very heads-up play from Red to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Follow just failed to show up on a ward, and maybe they surmised from that they had gotten the red stolen, but Aegis is just going to take some raptors in return for red. That'll keep the CS up, but not the XP. He will fall behind the XP just a little bit as long as they stay even in camps. So, and they are even so far.
Yep, we're going to trade Scuttle Crabs right now, so no vertical jungling.
Yeah.
as I previously thought, off of a little bit of aggression from Annie, pulling Aegis all the way into the mid lane, makes this a pretty normal lane right now, and that means that Guigo is going to have to play a little bit safe.
He will indeed, and Aegis was just trying to take one camp back. You see he's a camp up right now. He hasn't taken Krugs yet, but Follow hadn't taken the entire side of the top side jungle, so should come out a camp ahead, all said and done. But still feels pretty bad for Aegis to lose that XP out there. Drag up in 1 minute now. Both sides resetting for that play. Presumably, oh, here we go. JoJo's back gets canceled. And Beanie and Damage looking for a little bit of push before they reset before this objective. At least they should anyway. Follow, once again, counter jungling the Olaf. It's good stuff.
Yeah, this is Nidalee very much knowing her limits right now, and I'm impressed by the way that Follow has been playing this out, and with a relatively calm game happening around it, I only see this as a pure win for Furia right now. Red are not responding to this in any sort of way with their own priority, and Aegis is just being put further and further behind.
Yep, Aegis, check it out, could not take that trap there either. I think that's actually a ward that he just kind of walked past, but he's just looking for the camps. He's got to keep clearing the camps. Inefficient to stop for a ward.
Yeah, still is keeping even in the CS, so nicely done from Aegis, and might actually be able to find Damage and Follow, as Damage has taken the early roam up, now is spotted out, and that's actually pretty big. No surprise on the Leona, won't get them much. Aegis still wants to go in here, and I guess with the top lane priority that he has, he earns a few Raptors for his trouble.
It gets a couple of Raptors there, and stays even in CS despite the counter jungling from Follow. But Follow, you keep playing like that, eventually you're going to at least stay even with the Olaf, which is pretty good for any jungler. But the dragon has spawned. First dragon is Ocean, and that's pretty big for our top laners here looking for that lane sustain.
Nice trade from Guigo, who has a little bit of inbuilt sustain of his own. Tyrion, with the poke continually, though, is whittling away even through the Doran's shield right now. And yeah, any lane looking for sustain, I want to say even Annie right now is going to benefit an immense amount from an early Ocean Dragon. And Furia are going to try and earn themselves one. Don't quite find the damage, though, with JoJo getting away. And Red do keep their dragon hopes alive for now. And with Aegis here, they might just rotate onto it.
Certainly could, but the ultimate is available for Annie there in the mid lane, so they got to be careful about this. Super
has
big
his
skirmish
as well. This is real spooky. Follow is just hanging out here, trying to find something. Isn't spotted in this brush, but Red playing very respectfully right now. They get the Scuttle Crab, so they know what Furia are up to, and they can't just back away, take a small reset, and try again later.
Yeah, getting a Scuttle there was really big for Aegis, but Follow, not really any way for them to like go up and fight the Olaf, so kind of has to give that one over. You have to have lane prio to really make any kind of play around objectives, because if it's just you and Olaf, he just kind of kills you in most scenarios anyway. You hit a couple of long range spears and you can make something happen on Nidalee. It's a very strong early game champion as well, but if you're just kind of face checking and then getting in their face and stuff, you don't win those fights. And he gets a blue buff here off of Follow. Brings that back in the mid lane. Hopefully he gets some a little bit easier to time this lane, but he's a mage killer, so he'll be just fine. Tyrion topside takes the worst part of the trade there.
And even in the trades that he's been doing well, and it doesn't seem like it's been quite enough, because Gnar does need to really focus on those auto attacks for the trades. He's fallen behind just a little bit in CS to Guigo.
He has Aegis topside now.
Still no dragon take, by the way, as both the junglers are top. It's worth noting.
Yeah, definitely. Both of our early game junglers, a team fight.
Everybody's here.
Yeah, everybody is topside, looking for the plates on the top lane turret.
They get one, I think. I think one just pops, and Guigo and Aegis are both going to have to back off. JoJo wasting quite a bit of time up here. Does give some CS over to Titan bot side on this Jhin, so is going to benefit from that, and they might be able to net themselves a Rift Herald, but we're still going to need maybe a little bit more backup here, because With Follow not being around, I think that the call from Furia is just to give this up.
Think it definitely could be here, and Red just get a little bit more advantages. Yikes, any damage here?
So is this Furia then going for the Dragon if they're giving up Rift Herald right now? Because Follow's around the bot side, but they're just killing time in mid lane, and
Yeah,
it seems like Red just do get away with that objective for free.
I guess, yeah, but maybe they drop this here for the map pressure. They could also just hang on to it and just take Dragon off of the advantage they got so far. Man, Shockwave comes out.
Does force the flash out of damage though, and he can't get away over the wall anymore. That's
Oh.
first blood, a kill around Dragon and Rift Herald that Red have all gotten within 2 minutes of each other, and they're looking for more. Aegis just needs to land the axes, and Jojo flashes forward off of the mount up. Doesn't quite find the stun, but that's double flash out of the bot lane, and once again, I repeat, Dragon is on the table.
Yeah, Red definitely has to take this now, and we'll see it started up by Aegis. Reset here from Terran coming through. We go, maybe looking to upset that, but doesn't find it.
Both
Red.
top laners do have teleport, and a double teleport into the backside as Annie does crash down, knocking up 2, but Olaf burns the Ragnarok just to stay on his feet. Titan needs to clean up this fight, but with Guigo arriving, he's going to be able to help out in front line for this Jhin, locks up the Gnar, and Tyrion is in a lot of trouble right now. Guigo doesn't quite have the slice and dice to find him, but it is 2 kills, mid and ADC going over to Red. Canids in trade for not much. Aegis having just respawned with Rel right now. They could look for this Dragon again, but it is very tense around this objective.
It really is. Red still haven't taken the Dragon. They're
I
held
know.
off for the time being.
We've been talking about it for, what is this, 5 minutes now?
Well, we're looking for that sub 28-minute finish, right? And I don't know if that happens without taking the Dragon Soul. They almost certainly won't get that soul under 28 minutes now, I believe, as they're 5 minutes behind that 23-minute mark. But, you know, still could go for at least some advantages here. It's so strange. You're looking at some very early game, very solid junglers, and no Dragon takes yet. Here's the replay. Follow goes down early in this fight to the burst from the Olaf. Eventually, that jungler's taken down as well as Red flips the fight. Gets some key last hits on the solo laners, different carries. Terran locked up by the Flourish, Deadly Flourish there. Was able to get out at the end of the day, and a lot of deaths. Ooh, Gnar down to Guigo. No dive yet, though. They didn't really have the wave. It was a weird time to go for a play.
Yeah, and Guigo is going to feel comfortable going around this turret, especially now that Follow has been spotted out. Waiting around for him. This is another time that Red get to walk into the jungle, clear out any vision, get supremacy, and maybe even find a pick. Your shock blast, beautiful, does end up finding Tyrion, pulling him right back into the waiting arms of Aegis and Guigo.
In strange pathing there from Tyrion as he jumps like back into his jungle along the back of the Rift Herald pit. I don't think there's any way he could have known that Avenger was there, but it's strange that you don't immediately try and path back towards your turret. I guess maybe he's expecting the dive or something there, so he's just trying to get distance between them, but at least I would have thought he would have jumped over the wall. Rift Herald dropped now. That's going to be top lane.
It's going to be first tower.
Yeah, first turret drop there. Follows trying to get this Dragon back. Down the bot side of the map, is eventually going to be able to get it.
Does
Should
get
dodge
it.
most of these shots too. Yeah, he gets through all of those. So I don't know. Fury, they're losing stuff, but they're also getting dragons back. And like we said, not a lot of CBLOL teams winning without getting all the dragons. So
nice freeze from Tyrion.
Torn. Yeah, nice freeze there. But Annie, I mean, hasn't really been able to make anything happen in this mid lane. To be honest, it's a little strange because they haven't like had any big roams or anything like that either, right? You have teleport, you have the ultimate up. Have we seen any of that work? Yeah, for Furia yet? No, I don't think so. It's kind of strange what's happening here with the Galio in the mid lane. Not really doing anything that we would expect the Galio to be doing, or at least trying to be doing, right?
Yeah, and speaking of what we were expecting to happen, I certainly expected both Furia and Red to be really, really focusing down on the dragon, but it is Furia that ends up getting it as Red take a little bit of an unexpected pivot into the top lane, cracking the first turret. They net themselves a 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes into the game. We got 15 more minutes for them to close this out if they want to beat Flamengo's record, but right now it actually feels like Furia are kind of going to bat with them.
It seems like it, right? This is a closer game than our previous game, Loud versus Flamengo, which is a pretty big surprise. We
Mm-hmm.
expected this one to be kind of the giant killing match for us here today, and Loud might have at least a little bit of a better game than the Flamengo, but not so far. Fury is keeping pace, at least somewhat, with Red. Um, but I suspect that's all about to fall apart here as we start to see Aegis and JoJo roaming around together here. Maybe get some at least vision control, but probably a couple kills as well. This is essentially how Red is looking to get the victory here. Is just the numbers advantages, and that's exactly what Fury should be trying to be doing. Is they're just not executing right.
Yeah, I'm watching Guigo right now as he runs the top side jungle. Follow
Yeah.
can't really walk in here because Tyrion is busy freezing, which actually is denying quite a lot from Guigo. It just also transitively denies from Follow.
Definitely. And difficult to Zenith Blade misses bot side.
This
Deadly
could be a
Flourish
big
doesn't though.
problem. Another
Yeah.
flash forced out by the shockwave
Okay,
here, and
there's
it might
one.
not be enough.
3.
Bullets are landing, but it will be
Jeez.
onto Beanie that we do see Titan land in the shots, and it won't be lethal by any means. Although the summoner disadvantage is big, he's now looking for follow as well. Guigo is constantly roaming around this map. He's got nothing to do in top lane.
Aegis starts up the Rift Herald, actually completes it by the time I get to telling you. And now he's got the second Rift Herald of the game in hand again. Believe they dropped that one top lane to get that turret down. This next one may go mid, as finally Terran decides to end the freeze and crash the wave.
Yeah,
And
Guigo's
he
right
is
here to scoop it up, but it has caught Tyrion up in CS quite a bit. Now 126 to the 148, closer than they were before. And if we look across the map, it's actually not really manifested in any way that Fury have a CS disadvantage, even outside of the jungle where it's still relatively even. I'm really liking the way that Fury are playing this map. They have an objective. They're even in gold in lanes. It is just that first tower and couple kills that separates them, and that's something you can make up with a few plays.
definitely is possible for them. There's a play here, yeah.
Good cleanse right there, but it's not quite enough as Titan does
4
fall.
teleports.
JoJo does have to move away here, but like you say, the fight has begun. Furia find one, but now Guigo sniping up another one on Beanie is going to need to be punished. Guigo gets knocked up, should be taken down here. The sustain is not quite enough, and Furia thinking about chasing under the tower. Zenith Blade connects, and JoJo goes down in trade for his life. Tyrion flashing away with a triple kill right now. Would be a big shutdown for Aegis, but he can't quite catch up to him. A quadra kill for Tyrion out of nowhere. Equalizes almost everything. They put themselves within touching distance of the gold. Get the first tower, and Furia make it work.
That's the power of the Gnar right now, Dia. What a play from Tyrion. And what a good freeze they set up, though, is able to give them a little bit of an item advantage here. And they capitalize on that about as much as you can imagine that they would. Next Dragon is up. They're pathing for it. Maybe Furia takes the victory here, gets the giant kill. Here's their replay. They were going for the reset, but decide against it. The big engage down into Titan. Flash stun in from damage. Is cleansed immediately by the Jhin and flashed away, but does go down eventually. 4 teleports channeled here, Dia. And Tyrion is immediately in with the first kill on the Orianna. Kill goes down onto Beanie for Guigo, but the rest of them are going for Tyrion. And down goes Guigo. And following that, JoJo and Aegis as well. I believe he gets most of these kills as Mega, but the last 2 he gets as the regular Gnar. Olaf looked like he could get the kill here.
If that axe just connected, man.
Yep, it would have been over, but he got him.
Yeah, this is really out of nowhere for Furia. Like you say, with the multiple teleports, they completely changed the way that that fight is going to go, and the numbers are just there. The utility is there as Follow's able to pump out the damage from the back. Beanie, of course, being the real star of the damage graphs, and Tyrion mopping them all up. Actually, now has himself at 5-1, which is really big when we consider what this Gnar brings to the table. He is the front line for Furia right now, and he can't do all of that by himself, but Tyrion now gets to split push, gets to free tank, and Red are gonna struggle to deal with this.
I would say so, yeah. Rift Herald, it's going to be difficult for them. It's going to take this tower, I believe. Yeah, it gets the full tower down. Might not get a second charge off, but to be honest, I mean, Red don't really require that. They're going to get all the outer turrets here in a second once this outer bot turret falls. And that's it's not going to be good here for Furia.
Do they lose
But
Guigo for it? Oh, the dodge on the Zenith Blade. No, man. Furia had that.
so Furia handily get that first dragon. They
Hmm.
steal it back off of the Rift Herald play in the top lane play there. They lose their turret, but they get the first dragon. Second dragon goes down for them off of a quadrico from Tyrion, and they're halfway to Dragon Soul here. Now, Dia, we're almost at 20 minutes, so this is going to be one late soul,
This
like a 30-minute soul or something like this, if they get it. But they can. The gold lead is shrinking, but I don't know if it's shrinking fast enough. This is much closer a game than we thought it would be.
Yeah, this is actually something that Red are going to have to fully turn on to win if they can. Because right now, I don't think that they've been put in a position with such a team that maybe stands below them as far, where they've
Yeah.
actually had to try in a game and not just be able to run it down with people like Guigo and Titan. A lot of times you see Aegis running in the front line, and there's a lot of styling going on. Red Canids are confident. They can't play with that same relaxed, sat back sort of style that we're used to seeing from them right now, because Furia are actually playing this game really, really well.
They really are, and it would be ooh Jesus spear. It would be one thing to say that if like follow was like 5-1-6 or something like that, and was just massive, roaming around, getting tons of kills, getting lots of pressure, and rolling that into dragons. You could say, well, we're past 20 minutes now. Nidalee's falling off, and they're not going to be able to get that soul before 30 minutes passes. So maybe Furry just kind of runs out of gas, but that's not what's happening. There's
Mm,
5 kills on the scaling top laner, right? Aegis, I don't know if Aegis could have fought that, to be honest.
I don't think so.
But yeah, this team is scaling, right? So it's not like some weird snowball that's running out of gas. They are scaling very competently. They have a very strong team fight. They can continue to look for these dragons.
And Follow still could get massively ahead if he
Yeah.
picks up a kill onto
Oh,
Guigo here, goes over the wall, doesn't find the spear, and with the Sterix popped,
no.
Guigo will get out alive, but that's a cooldown burned and a little bit more pressure bought for Furia.
For sure. Teleport comes up for everybody on the map consecutively as they all use them at the same time. And that's it's pretty funny, but maybe we'll get a cross map teleport play from everybody again this game. That would be fun, but no dragons yet for another minute, and then it should be coming up. So you'll see backs channeled across the map now as everybody's looking to get positioning on the objective. Red looking for some mid lane priority, actually in all lanes priority, and
E-
that will help them considerably here.
Even in the jungle, they have priority. And this is something that Red are doing that Furia are not, which stands out, is when they do have a lead or when they have nothing else to do, they walk in and they deny Follow camps. They make sure he can't enter the jungle. They zone out Furia from placing vision. And it's what gets them from small leads into big leads, is the denial of resources. It's something that Furia aren't doing back to them. Furia very much walking away with these small little advantages based on team fights that can turn into objectives, but right now outside of those objective fights, they're not actually playing the game in a way that gets them further ahead.
They are not red looking for the death bush.
Tyrant's almost got Mega right now, so they need to be careful. Does Gnar into the wall Titan, but doesn't quite find the kill here. Unfortunately, we do have Guigo in the middle of the team fight, but it seems like it might be enough as the shockwave
Tyrion
connects onto 3. Tyrant falls quite low. Annie isn't much better off, and Furia lose the fight off the death ball. The sustain from Red is just too much right now.
It really is. The Gore Drinkers are insane. That active and the passive giving so much healing to Guigo and Aegis. But yeah, the command shockwave there from Avenger was something else. Cooldown's almost back up as well. Follow on the run.
I'm a
But
little
here's
spooked,
a
although Avenger's the
teleport.
one that needs to be sweating right now. Annie's looking for him. Does have a lot of move speed and might just get the knock up here. It's going to be the kill on
Wow.
Avenger. Oh, he was looking for follow and couldn't find it. Titan, though, he is not one to forget. Looks for follow, forces the flash at the very least. And follow doesn't get any of the camps off of that, leaving them all up for Aegis.
Unfortunately, yeah, Aegis is going to get the Dragon. He's going to get his bot side camps and top side camps, further forcing this CS lead for the Olaf. But we're pushing into that mid, into the late game as well. And it's going to make things different. Follow. He wants this blue, Dia. He's going to get
There
it.
we go. He does manage to secure it. I was wondering if JoJo was actually going to be able to stop that. You know what stood out to me, though, while we were watching this little play around the jungle is Red Knid's spot lane suck at clearing wards. Like, not as people, but just Rel plus Jhin is, I think, the worst combination you could have.
Yep. Yeah, they're not great at getting the old wards. The attack speed is not necessarily there. So it takes quite a bit of time, but they are doing it nonetheless. There's still quite a bit. Jeez. It is really funny now that you pointed out. They're
Right?
like, control ward. Control ward.
Everybody else is like, just go through it. Oh my lord.
Yeah, just walk past you're taking so much time. But JoJo now with the gank here, maybe.
All that ward clearing did find them a blank spot in the vision, but JoJo unfortunately is a little bit too far from the rest of his team. Aegis walked in with him there, saw it and went, nah, I don't think so. And JoJo did not have a choice.
That's not going to be something that I'm going for here, my friend. Unfortunate, but perhaps Furia used this to pick up this mid lane turret. Could be an option for them. They're going to have to get through Titan.
Tyrion's near Mega again here. This demands respect
go.
right now. Demands the flash from Titan. So the Gnar doesn't quite find the carries that they were looking for. Damage, though, does take quite a bit of his namesake. And Avengers here with the big shockwave. If he can find it, Guigo's looking for some sort of people to tank. Follow does get rooted up, gets stunned, but goes golden. And Furia look like they're looking for the re-engage. Shockwaves finds nobody. And Guigo tanks up 3 members for such a long time to no avail. Avenger gets out alive, and JoJo tanks a spear on the way out, but Furia do manage to kite out the desperate engage from Red.
Good stuff here, and Furia start up the Baron almost immediately. And they just have the 1-man advantage with Guigo being down, but that... Yeah.
And he's on the flank. This is so doomed,
the
actually. They find Titan, and the shutdown goes over to Beanie of all people. Furia gets to turn right back onto this Baron. You have Aegis and JoJo. You can't stop Aegis from getting in the pit, though, so Furia will play respectfully and walk away.
Good stuff there. So they get another kill off of their Baron bait. And no real way for Red to start it up. And that's all positive for Furia so far. Check out the gold lead. It's been the smallest that it has been all game. So Furia are doing quite well now. The Dragon Soul is practically out of the conversation, as both teams would need like either 2 or 3 to get it. And we're at 27 minutes. But yeah, I don't think we're going to beat that 28-minute mark here, Dia.
No, I don't think so. And if anything right now, Red kind of need to put that out of their minds. I guess it wasn't really on their minds. It was only on my mind. I need to put it out of my mind and focus on how Red are actually going to win this game, because right now Furia are the ones that look like they can. Gold lead be darned. They are down ever so slightly in gold, but they've just been playing like it doesn't matter and have been staying so ridiculously even that I don't know as Red what you have compositionally that'll push Furia over the edge.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that either. Um, but guess
It's a
we'll just
mystery we'll
have
uncover
to.
together.
Yeah, we'll find out here in just a little bit. But man, Tyrion is such a bright light here for Furia that I think they can maybe pull it off with just him. But they got the teleport. On that Gnar, he's just got to get away from Guigo long enough to be able to use it. So you see him
Mhm.
running back down the lane, trying to get a position on it. He's just going to have to get to the fight the old-fashioned way as his team backs off.
He's really near Mega right now and has found
Yeah,
himself on a flank. Looks for Jojo
here we
here. Doesn't
go.
find the boomerang, but I think this is just a pick. Jojo tries to disengage as Tyrion does go Mega in the middle of in the middle of Red's jungle. Now Furia's jungle and back off onto the dragon. That mistiming of the Mega though will mean that Red do have the chance to contest this dragon should they want to. You see them poking their heads in. Aegis is here, wants the steal, but can't quite get in the pit just yet. Flashes in, but doesn't secure
Oh
it. And now the
no.
fight has begun. We see the pick off onto Gnar. That's so much of your gold lead gone as Furia and Red Canids are sandwiching in on people like Damage and Annie who are trying to play frontline here but haven't found Titan.
Okay.
Guigo instead has found Beanie in the backline and he goes massive, taking him down with Gore Drinker, Cull the Meek, everything in his kit. Annie goes golden for just a little while, but it is a formality more than anything that he dies. Red Canids have found their fight.
The Dia Fury have found the dragon, and perhaps a little bit more important there, Red are going to look to try and trade back the Baron here and look for a power play. All of the outer turrets on Summoner's Rift are down, so the Baron is going to be very important here now as you can get
Imagine
a...
if Follow steals this.
Yeah, this... Oh, no. No, no, no. You've
They're
spoken
looking
it
for
into
it.
existence, Dia. No, no, no. You manifested it.
There's a teleport right now. Tyrion is back. Doesn't have anywhere close to Mega, though, and he's got so little time to get there. Baron's at
They're baiting
2,000
it.
health. Yeah, they're just trying to hold on right now. There's a control ward in the pit, though, and Guigo goes over the wall.
Ooh,
It does go over
no.
to Red Canids, and Follow now should be shoot through. Tyrion
course.
has gone Mega for the moment, but can't quite burn through Jojo. Weirdly enough, that Gnar didn't seem to go off. Question marks are everywhere, but Guigo doesn't seem to care about that. Cleans up a kill, and Red, they do manage barely to secure that Baron and walk away with a big advantage.
Yeah, not sure if he got like stunned out of the ability or something, but that the Nard definitely didn't go off for whatever reason. But
Jojo should be dead right now.
yeah, yeah, I would say so. But yeah, flashing out of the play, Terran just kind of finds himself next to Guigo. Awkward position to be in, and Guigo's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I finally got one." But that was so close. Fala could have stolen that. Definitely could have stolen that. That was very, very close. But well played by Aegis to get that down and use his. So here's the thing: he's got 2 levels on follow, so the smite has that much more damage. And I think that it was kind of doomed from the Nidalee. I was expecting maybe the spear into the smite, perhaps, but that it scales with the range, right? So you'd have to throw the spear from range, get in, jump over the wall, and smite it like as soon as the spear hits. Very difficult to do. So it was always going to be hard for Follow, but maybe a little bit harder than some other junglers.
And he was under a lot of pressure too. Had to jump over the wall as Guigo went over to look for him, and made it really, really difficult. Now does have the Zanyas though, and this is an item that was crucial for the Nidalee, the stopwatch in an earlier fight that has been missing for quite a long time. Finally, now with this Zanya's Hourglass, does give Follow the chance to stall out a few more fights. Since Red are so happy to collapse on him, this, weirdly enough, could be a turning point itemization-wise, but you've got to weather the storm of this Baron first, and it doesn't look like Furia are doing so, with Guigo managing to secure the bot lane tier 2. Red are still pushing for mid-tier 2, and looks like they're going to get it and more.
They are Terran trying to trade back turrets topside, which is interesting. They're kind of, well, they're starting to give it the base anyway. It's a base race.
Only gets used by Beanie to clear out a little bit of the wave, but the waves are crashing at right the same time. Tyrion, yeah, you're right. This is a little bit questionable, especially if the base does fall. Guigo has decided to channel his own back to try and answer this. I don't know if he's going to get there in time, and Red Canids aren't breaking the base in the meantime. Tower does fall, actually, surprisingly and thankfully for Furia, but at the same time, they do lose their mid lane tower. So pressure given, pressure taken.
And that said, Red had Baron, right? So this should
Mm-hmm.
not have been an equivalent exchange here. This should have been one-sided, and it was not. The power play ends in the next second, and there's the Baron play. It's just an even trade of turrets. Now, I believe there's one inner turret extra the Red was able to take in the side lane, but uh, all in all, taking one inner turret on your Baron power play, indifference between both teams is not really what you're hoping for. Maybe hoping for a little bit more. Dragon up now in 23 seconds. This is Soul for Furia. They are all up, which is very important, and they are all in the bot side jungle now, Dia. This is huge for them. They could make it happen. It's Infernal Dragon Soul.
Especially if they find a pick on JoJo or Aegis, but they're so tanky right now that pulling that off is going to be difficult. Damage, not
Oh,
nearly as hard
no.
to pick off, especially with the duo that they bring. Guigo,
Guigo?
he just gets to tank up. He's got the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He's got the, what's this called, Gore Drinker. He's very, very happy right now, but damage doesn't get picked off either. Now with a huge solar flare, they start the fight. Titan does take down damage for his sins, but Avenger keeps looking for that last shockwave. Hasn't quite found it just yet. Guigo gets to continue tanking up, and the rundown from JoJo is just too strong. Beanie goes down to the last shot from Titan. The cleanup is there from Red Canids, and they find yet another fight around a crucial dragon, and now they are looking not just for Annie, but for the end of the game.
Avenger with the teleport, gonna command Shockwave into Annie. Wow,
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Galio
finds
does
one.
damage. Holy moly.
Yeah, Avenger may be a little bit hopeful on that play, but and he finds one for the road, I guess, and a tragic ending here for Furia. If they lose here, I think they kind of have to, but it looks like a lot of Red are backing off for the time being, looking to get that dragon down, as they actually hadn't taken it yet.
Yeah,
Which is surprising to me.
they've got the double inhibitor now. They've got plenty of time to get away. Damage, I don't think this actually ends up in a kill. This is sort of maybe a confusing stall, but will end up backing away with his life. And you do just give over the second Infernal Drake to Red Canids, which is not the worst thing in the world. This could have been Soul at this point had Red played a little bit more on their game early on. Now Furia are sitting not comfortably given the gold lead, but given the objectives are feeling a little bit better about themselves.
For sure. And not disastrous quite to the level it could have been, but Furia now very far behind in gold. 9K down, but that is the worst they have been so far. And a lot of their champions are starting to falter, right? We saw long ago, Tyrion was 5-1-2 here on the Gnar. Now he's 6-4-2, doing a lot of dying, not a lot of killing. So not scaling quite how we would have wanted. A lot of the kills that they've been getting have been going down to Beanie, actually, who's kind of falling off somewhat. So not great how these fights have been going for him. That last fight, before the dragon came up, just a little bit too spread out for Furia, and damage goes in with a solar flare to start off the fight.
It looked so good.
Yeah, it looked really good. I think he hit like at least 2, maybe 3 members of Red, but there was no follow-up around, and damage kind of ended up Zenith blading in onto his solar flare and just got blown up almost instantly. Now he gave the away into Annie. Oh, here we go. Guigo might actually get picked here.
Think so. He does have the
What am I
Gorgerker
saying?
still, plus Gargoyle,
Yeah, no,
so he's
no
a
way.
real tanky boy. But hey, so is Tyrion, and he's not dying either.
Wow,
Who is
okay.
JoJo? Guigo's still very much alive as the Shockwave does find only Tyrion. Annie had gone golden for the moment, but now with Aegis showing up, nobody can stop this guy running at you, and he does manage to find a kill. Maybe even more as he's chasing down the remaining members of Furia as they retreat into their base. The defense is not there for them. Damage is trying desperately to keep Red busy, but the minions, crucially, are not available for Red Canids, and they will back away onto the Baron.
Crazy play there. Guigo with the Stairs Gauge and the Gore Drinker, I think is unkillable. I don't know if they can actually get the kill down here. The Death Bush is here. Damage. He smells something.
And they have a ward on the Baron.
Yet they get the word on the Barons, so they know it's happening. They don't need to go. Um, don't need to go through this bush per se. Yeah, and Fall's gonna throw the spear. They almost know, but damage walks up eventually. Fortunately, they had already reset, but that would have been pretty rough for the Leona, needless to say. So now Red looking for Baron. This should be the next big objective. They play around. If they get this, I think it's pretty much it, Dia.
Yeah, if this Baron goes down, Red Canids do win the game. Furia have team fights that they can win. They're so on the edge of winning these, but the sustain has just been too much right now. Guigo and Aegis need to be kited out, and it's really, really difficult to do so. I'm taking a look across the items right now as both Tyrion and Follow do bring grievous wounds to the table. Even Beanie has picked up some of his own. Even with that, the Gargoyle Stoneplate giving you so many resistances and shields, it feels really, really difficult right now. I believe they can find an angle, but they're going to have to do it soon as the Red Canids start up the Baron.
Here they come. Beanie Follow in with a spear.
There's a
Gonna
teleport
get caught
right
up by
now.
JoJo, though.
You can't focus JoJo right now. This is all about the Baron. Damage goes in onto Avenger. Tyrion almost has Mega. The Baron should fall to Red Canids, and they do pick it up right now. Can they win the ensuing fight? It looks like they can as Titan snipes off the board. At least Follow takes down Beanie in damage as well. Furia. Avenger, once again, a little bit overextended perhaps, won't get taken down by Tyrion for the moment, as Tyrion's desperately fighting for his life and needs to find something to do here. Looks for Avenger, but doesn't quite find a Titan. Once again with the cleanup as he goes legendary and now gets to walk it in at his leisure to finish off the game against Furia. Red Canids, it looked close, by God, but they do manage to find the win, and the last couple autos are put in. The nail is in the coffin, and Furia will fall once again and increase this drastic difference between them in the standings.
I would wager, Dia,